734 in your note booklet is a blank page. What we're going to look at is how we can use combinations to count certain poker hands and figure out why in poker some hands are better than others. Just a poker tournament to end of the year? Yeah, we can do that after our exam. Play for grades. I take all your grades away. My graduation depends on this hand. Okay. So in poker, there are different hands. A very common hand that's not worth a lot is called two of a kind. And two of a kind looks like this. You could have 2 5s and then 3 other numbers. And the 3 other numbers have to be different. So I'm going to say this out first, and then we'll write it out after we have an example. But in poker, in counting poker hands, what we're going to do is we're going to count kinds of cards. By kinds, I mean like the number, 2s, but I have to say kinds because ace and queen aren't really a number. We're going to count kinds of cards that are the same size at the same time. So what that's going to look like is this. We only have one kind that's a pair, right? We have 2 5s in this case. You could have 2 7s, 2 9s, 2 queens. And so in a deck of cards, there's 13 different kinds, and we need to choose one of them to be our pair. Say we choose 5s, as I wrote down. How many 5s are there in the deck? There's 4 5s in the deck, and then you need to specifically figure out which of those 4 5s you're going to choose. So the 13 choose 1 and the 4 choose 2. This together will count all the different pairs that are possible. Because the 13 choose 1 chooses the kind. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. First you choose which kind, and then you think about those 4 specific ones of that kind. There's 4 5s in the deck. Are you going to pick the hearts and the diamonds, the hearts and the clubs, the hearts and the spades and the clubs, and so on? So there's 4 choose 2 ways to pick the specific 2 cards. So we choose the kind first and then the specific card. And that will count all the different pairs possible. After we've chosen our pair, we need to choose our single cards. And because our single cards are all the same size, they're all single cards, we choose them at the same time. Now, there's only 12 numbers left, or 12 kinds left, because you've already taken out the 5s. You can't get another 5, and then it's not 2 of a kind anymore. So of the 12 numbers that are left, we need to choose 3 of them, 3 kinds, in this case the 7, 8, and 9. How many 7s are there in a deck? There's 4. We need to choose which 7 we're picking. There's 4 8s, choose which one. There's 4 9s, choose which one. All of this together will be 3 single cards. So if we summarize some of the guidelines that we've done so far, can check, I'm not sure. Here. Like this? Okay. But life support one. So we always choose the kind first, then the specific ones next. And the second thing that we said was we're going to choose kinds of the same kind at the same, of the same size at the same time. So notice that I chose my single cards, 12 choose 3, all at the same time. That's important because if you choose them at different times, you might create order in a poker hand, and a poker hand has no order. Doesn't matter the way that you were dealt the cards, you can rearrange them in your hand. So let's look at using this logic to figure out the possibility of getting 2 pairs. So 2 pairs would be like 2 3s, 2 7s, and another card. So if you're going to start with your pairs, since you have 2 of them that are the same size, you would choose those 2 kinds, the 3s and the 7s, at the same time. Then how many 3s are in the deck? There's 4. You need to choose 2 of them. And there's 4 7s. You need to choose 2 of them. This will count all the different possibilities of 2 pairs. We choose 13 choose 2 at the same time because 2 3s and 2 7s is not different than 2 7s and 2 3s. And finally, we need to choose one more single card. You could say there are 11 kinds left. Choose 1. And then for the queens, if you chose the queens, there's 4 of those. Choose 1. This will be the single card. Can you see that you could have done that single card just by 44 choose 1 if you wanted to? You would have to take out the 8 cards from 52 that are the 3s and the 7s. There's 44 cards left, and in choosing a single card, that could have been done all at once. But you could still do pick the kind first, and then the specific card would work the same. Okay? So now we can calculate some of these on our calculator just to put some numbers down. Which is a better hand? 2 pairs or 1 pair? 2 pairs is a better hand. So let's see if the numbers show that. So if we go up to the first one and we do 13 times 4 choose 2, remember that there was about 2.6 million different poker hands? Of the 2.6 million, over 1 million of them have a pair. When we get to 2 pairs, there's quite a few less. 3 of a kind or 2 pairs better? Ooh, that's the one I always get. 3 of a kind's better? Let's find out if it should be. Okay, so 3 of a kind. It means you have 3 of one kind and the other 2 are different. We only have one kind that is 3 of a kind, so we can choose 13, choose one, to choose which one is going to be the 3 of kind. And if you chose jacks, there's 4 jacks in the deck, you need to choose exactly which 3 will be the jacks that you will pick. So I like to say which specific 3. Some people talk about that 4 choose 3 as choosing the suit, because after you've chosen the number, then you need to choose the suits of the numbers. But I find it easier to think about actually saying, okay, I chose the jacks, now I've taken out 4 jacks. Which of these jacks am I going to keep? Which 3? I choose 3 of them. Yes? You stole your English exam. You found it in your bag. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, one less person graduating. Okay. And now we need to choose our 2 single cards. We choose them at the same time because they're the same size. Whatever we choose first, there's 4 of those, choose 1. 4 of the other one, choose 1. This will be 2 single cards. How would you type this in on a calculator? I'll show you. So we were right in saying this one is better. 54,912. I'll pull up the calculator here. Now, for some of them, I would do mental math. 13 choose 1 is 13, right? There's 13 things. You choose one of them. How many ways can you do that? It's 13. So I would start with 13 times, and then 4 choose 3. Whenever you make 4 choose 3, I think is easy mental math as well, because 4 choose 3 is the same as 4 choose 1. Because making a group of 3 from 4 always leaves you with a group of 1. So 4 choose 3, that I could do mental math and do times 4 again. But then when I get to 12 choose 2, I might want to go 12, hit the math button, go over to probability, choose NCR, 12 choose 2, and then times by 4 times by 4. And get 54,912. So we won't go through all the poker hands, but we'll do these ones that are similar in having pairs, or this is 3 of a kind and 2 different. What's another one that has multiple cards of the same kind? 4 of a kind. We could do 4 of a kind. Is that the next best one? What? Full house is next. That one has a fancy name. A full house is 3 of one kind, 2 of another. So a full house would mean you had 3 3s and 2 9s would be an example of a full house. So we only have to choose 2 kinds, and they're both different sizes, so we do them separately. 13 choose 1, and then 4 choose 3. We'll pick 3 of a kind. And then 12 choose 1, and 4 choose 2. We'll pick 2 of a kind. Why do we choose our kinds separate? Well, we have our note that says if they're different sizes, we choose them separate. But in this case, it's really obvious because, well, this wouldn't actually happen in poker unless you're really cheating. But if I had 3 3s and 2 9s, and you had 3 9s and 2 3s, your hand is better than mine. Okay? Now we'd be cheating because that would mean there's 5 3s and 5 9s in the deck. Somehow one of us did something wrong in this hand. But they're different hands. 3 9s and 2 3s is better than 3 3s and 2 9s. So we choose the sizes at different times. If we type this into our calculator, again, 13 choose 1 is just 13. 4 choose 3 is 4. 12 choose 1 is just 12. 4 choose 2, you might type that in. Maybe you know that's 6. There is not very many hands. 3,744 hands that have a full house. In other words, a full house is so much better than just a single pair. Four of a kind, just slightly better than 5 of a kind. Okay, well, we'll just do two. 4 of a kind could be 4 7s and an 8. You choose. Which one's going to be your 4 of a kind? There is 4 cards. You need to choose all 4 of them. And then you need to have one other card. Again, you could do this as 12 choose 1 and 4 choose 1. Or you could have just done, there's 48 cards left. I need to choose one other one to go with my 4 of a kind. We type this into our calculator. 13, 4 choose 4 is 1. 12 choose 1 is 12. 4 choose 1 is 4. 624. Very rare. And if you wanted a royal flush, there's only 4 of them, 1 in each suit. Yes? So this gives you a sense of how you can use your combinations to count how many different poker hands there are. It also gives you a sense of which poker hands are worth more than others.